The Atlanta Braves offense was, frankly, pathetic in a series loss to the Pirates this weekend. Let's talk about it. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today, your source of news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_today. We have a Facebook page and Instagram as well. And you can find all my written work, bravestoday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. It's another day of the newsletter and the podcast not having a ton of overlap. We dropped a piece this morning over on Braves Today about Marcell Ozuna's new approach and trying to quantify, one, specifically what he is doing differently, and then two, is it better or worse than what he was doing last year? Like in a vacuum and then in the context of the team. So fun one, go check that out. Again, bravestoday.com. Free or paid, helps the show out a ton. But today, I want to get to the Nationals coming to town for 4. I want to get to some really interesting pitching moves, couple different levels of the organization, whether it's prospects coming up, Strider may be coming back. We'll break down all the options there. But before we do that, we've got to talk about the weekend because the offense was terrible. Atlanta had 2 different opportunities to get to a 500 record on Friday night and then again on Sunday, and they didn't do it either time, right? So the Braves lose on Friday 3-2. They win on Saturday 3-2 in extras, and then they lose on Sunday 4-3, get walked off by the Pirates. So that is 8 runs in 3 games against the Pirates. When they went into the series preparing to face 2 starters who had ERAs over 5. And Atlanta as a team hits 194 with a 583 OPS. They get 1 home run from Matt Olson. They walk 11 times with 19 strikeouts. They don't strike out a ton in this series, but they score 8 runs and they lose the series 2-1. And the issue here is a lot of these Braves players, these veterans that we're counting on, have been terrible. Okay? All right, here's the most frustrating stat from the weekend, if you're ready. Joey Bart, the starting catcher for the Pirates, had 6 hits in 12 at-bats. The combination of Alex Verdugo, Austin Riley, Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, and Ozzie Albies together had 6 hits in 56 at-bats. Atlanta had 20 hits in the series. Those 5 players played all 3 games and had 6. And then the other 14 were from other parts of the roster, whether it was Sean Murphy with an RBI double, whether it was Drake Baldwin, whether it was Nick Allen, Eli White, whatever it may have been. And we talked about this a little bit on the postcast sometime over the weekend. There's been talk about like changing the lineup, right? That Verdugo is in a slump, which is correct. He is in a slump right now. He is in a terrible slump. Last 7 days, Alex Verdugo has 3 hits. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He's batting 111 in the last 7 days. And there's been talk about Eli White needs to come bat leadoff. Drake Baldwin needs to move up in the lineup when he's in there. And in fact, he did. He batted 5th. On Sunday, they swapped Ozuna and Olson, and then Drake Baldwin batted behind them. But, and I wrote this in one of the recaps on Braves Today over the weekend. tinkering on the edges like that, doing a little, putting some on a different spot here or there, can help you a little bit on the margins. But if those 5 players that I mentioned pick up 6 hits in a weekend, none of that matters. It doesn't matter if you have prime Hank Aaron batting behind the top 4. If they all go hitless in the game, he's only going to do so much to help you in that game. That's the situation the Braves are in right now. Is the stars aren't starring. And because of that, everybody else can't do enough to get Atlanta to a win. There was a stat I saw, and I apologize, I don't remember who had this. So a stat I saw, over the last 162 games, the Braves have the second best ERA as a team in all of baseball. The number 1 fielding independent pitching in all of baseball. Expected ERA is up there towards the very top as well. Their pitching staff has been phenomenal in the last full season worth of games, 162 games. And Atlanta is 80 and 82. And it's because the offense has not shown up. And the offense has not shown up really since 2023. And we can continue to be mad at Brian Snitker for some of the decisions that he makes, right? We can continue to complain about Jurickson Profar getting popped for PEDs or whatever. But none of that stuff matters when your stars are finishing a series with 6 combined hits. And I put Alex Verdugo in there with the stars. I don't know why. Really, Riley, Ozuna, Olson, Albies are the guys I'm talking about. That foursome. The term contract, tenured Braves players who have been here for a long time and who are being counted on, some of them, for a long time going forward. Over the last 7 days, Atlanta's top 2 hitters. 1, Sean Murphy, he's batting .278 with, I think it's 1 run, 3 RBI. Nick Allen, batting .263. He has 5 hits and 19 at-bats. 1 run, no RBI. And Michael Harris batting .259. Everybody else is under .250. Riley's at .241. Eli White's at .240. Matt Olson's at .231. Marcell Ozuna's at .160. Alex Verdugo's at .111. And Ozzie Albies is at .071. Ozzie's 2 for 28 right now. We can ask for Eli White to lead off and lay down some bunts. Whatever. Ronald can come back. Whatever. It doesn't matter when everybody else is this bad. And honestly, I don't know what the solution is. People are saying fire the hitting coach. It's clearly not the hitting coach. Because this happened last year with a different hitting coach. And go look at what the Seattle Mariners are doing. The Seattle Mariners offense has been really good with Kevin Seitzer in the house. The problem wasn't Kevin Seitzer. The problem isn't Tim Hires. The problem is these players aren't performing. And I don't know what's required to get them performing. They've tried different approaches, right? Marcel's walking a lot more. He's not swinging the bat as much. Again, I broke down that whole thing on BravesToday.com about whether I think or not it actually is an improvement and helps the team or not. But they've got to be better. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing else really that you can say here. They have to be better. And until they do, this team is going to stay below 500. Like, I know in 2021, you didn't break 500 until August. Like, the season's not over. You absolutely can go on a run and make the postseason and make a postseason run. But to do that, you have to fix this. And I don't know how long it takes. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what has to be done. And the problem is, what really sucks about this is it feels like they don't either. It feels like the Braves as players, as an organization, as coaches, everybody that we talk to, they don't know either. there's not help coming from the minor leagues when it comes to the offense. You don't have some sort of top prospect who's crushing home runs every other day in the minors to call up. One of your best hitters on the team has been Drake Baldwin, and he's up right now. Outside of him, there's not anybody else who's going to be a difference maker this season on the hitting side in the minors. These guys are the guys. It doesn't matter if you go out and acquire an outfielder at the deadline or whatever. These guys have to figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, this ship is not going to get turned around. That's all there is to it. In just a second, I want to talk about the pitching side. I've talked about them being really good, but there are some interesting moves, whether it's Strider coming back or in the minors. We'll break that down next, right here on Braves Today. Welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsay Crosby. Let's talk about some pitching moves in the organization. We'll start up high and we'll work our way down the farm system. Spencer Strider threw another bullpen on Saturday. So it's 2 bullpens. He had one late last week. He had this one here. When he spoke to the media, he said that he feels like he can come back without a rehab start. Quote, "I feel good to go, but admittedly, I haven't pitched in 3 weeks." And he did clarify, like, he's been throwing. He never shut his arm down. With the strained hamstring, he would throw from his knees and stuff and do things to keep his arm going. And then when the hamstring was healed enough, he would go from standing up and then to a mound and then to bullpens, whatever. "I feel good to go, but admittedly, I haven't pitched in 3 weeks. So I won't be shocked if they don't feel comfortable running me out there. I've made my availability known. Beyond that, it's up to them." And he's talking about the Braves. What do they do? When does he come back? Does he get a rehab start or not? You have to remember, this is a stretch right now, and you have one more week of this. So you have 7 games left in this stretch of 17 games in 17 days. Those of you on YouTube, I'm looking over to the right because I have a calendar on the wall over there. The next off day is the 19th. Monday the 19th is the next off day for this team. 17 games in 17 days. And so there's pros and cons about bringing Spencer Strider back this week. They've announced the starters for the National Series. That's coming in the 3rd segment, but Spencer Strider's not in that group. And so the common thought process is you let him have another bullpen, right? You'd probably, given the scheduling of all of those, you'd probably give him a bullpen on like Tuesday. And then you could bring him back on Friday for the series opener in Boston versus the Red Sox. Okay, pros and cons here. Pro of bringing Spencer Strider back is you would give Chris Sale an extra day of rest. Because Chris Sale is, as of now, lined up to be the guy on Friday. He pitched on Sunday. He'd be on normal rest to pitch on Friday. 4 days and then the start. So if you bring Strider back, you would be able to give Chris Sale an extra day of rest and him pitch on 5 days rest instead of 4, which last year they did that quite a bit earlier in the year, and the pitchers said that it helped for the most part. Max Fried didn't like it. He wants to be on a routine. Everybody else, though, for the most part, said that it was fine, that they liked it. It helped. And so that's a possibility, right? That's a pro there. A con to this is about the bullpen. Because one, to bring Strider back as a starter, you have to, and like just have a 6-man rotation, you have to give up somebody in the pen. You have to get rid of somebody. You're not going to option down Daisel Hernandez. You're not going to option down Dylan Lee. And so you're in a situation where you have to, it's probably Rafael Montero that goes. You'd have to DFA him, see if he, 1, gets claimed off of waivers, 2, see if he accepts or rejects the assignment, the outright assignment to Gwinnett. And so that means your bullpen is a man short. And the issue there is, 1, 17 games in 17 days. But 2, what can Strider give you on Friday? What if you have to go a man down in the bullpen and then Strider goes 4 innings, and he has to come out. Now you're a man down, and you have to cover additional innings because the decision to activate Strider. So there's pros and cons here. There's legitimate pros and cons here. Do they try to avoid activating him until after that off day so they can get the pen some rest? We'll see what happens. Chris Sale was 1 out from his quality start on Sunday, so the pen covered 3 1/3 innings. The pen had to go extra because of extra innings on Saturday. Shout out Scott Blewett for not blowing it. He's been great. He got the win on Saturday. Covered multiple innings and extras. Marcell Iglesias, by the way, yes, he gave up the game-winning run in the 9th inning. Go to bravetoday.com, read today's 3 things from Sunday's game. That was not on Marcell Iglesias. I broke down every at-bat in that 9th inning. He executed every pitch. It is not his fault that they scored a run. Go check that out, by the way, bravetoday.com. I'm really proud of that little on-the-fly breakdown right after the game. Moving from that to the minor leagues, we saw 2 notable prospect moves leaked, announced, reported, whatever. Number 1 is Jhancarlos Lara going from AA to AAA. He was an international free agent in 2022, so he's still pretty young. But he is now working as a reliever. They've moved him from a starter to reliever. And he has this huge fastball. I would call it a 70 grade fastball. It is fantastic. It's probably one of the best fastballs in the system. Easily touches 100. He has a low release point. He's only 6 foot tall. Low release point, and so the vertical approach angle is pretty flat, which means all the backspin this pitch has, it not only doesn't drop as much as you think it would, which is the whole induced vertical break concept, but it looks like it's rising at times. That's how good this fastball is. It's not just the velocity, it's the arm angle and the release point because of that, the vertical approach angle to the plate, all of that stuff. It is an awesome fastball. He's got a slider with it. It's a plus slider. He struggled as a starter with walks and things like that. As a reliever, he's been a different dude. He has been a dude. I legitimately think that Jhancarlos Lara could be in Atlanta's pen as soon as the second half of this season as a flamethrower out of the pen. And yeah, there's walk issues, but the stuff is undeniable. So he moved up to AAA. Taking his spot in AA, J.R. Richie. And this one has to get you really excited, okay? He was one of the 3 prep arms taken in 2022 to open the draft. It was Cole Phillips and Owen Murphy. Phillips had TJ first, was shipped out to the Mariners in the Jared Kelenic deal, and then had Tommy John again. I still don't think he's pitched in a major league game since being taken in 2022. Richie had his surgery in May 2023. Owen Murphy had his Tommy John in June of last year. Richie came back for just under 50 innings last year. And then this year has been in high A and has looked fantastic. 7 starts, he's 4-1 with a 1.30 ERA, 38 strikeouts to 10 walks and 41 2/3 innings. But his best start was Sunday. He threw a complete game against the Greenville Drive, which is high A of the Boston Red Sox. Good farm system. Allowed 1 hit, picked off more than 1 base runner, and got out of the entire thing in less than 100 pitches. He threw a Maddox. The complete game shutout with under 100 pitches. News leaked on Sunday night. News leaked, Sunday night, that he's being promoted to AA this week. Now, that does mean you've got a lot of starters in AA. So there's room here to take somebody else, even with Lara moving from starting to relief. You still have a lot of starters now in Double-A, right? Because you've got Drew Hackenberg, Lucas Braun, Blake Burkhalter, Dieter Fuentes is there, Ian Mayha. Now you're adding J.R. Richie in there. There's a lot of dudes here. So you can absolutely move somebody up if you want to. They may try to make it work for a week and then eventually decide to move somebody up. My choice would be Burkhalter. We've talked about that before. But some impressive pitching performances in the minor league system and guys who are who are getting one step closer to being in Atlanta. In just a second, let's talk about this National Series. Some pitching matchups, a revenge game to be mindful of, and I'll give you a scouting report on Jake Irvin. We'll do that next, right here on Braves Today. Final segment of Braves Today, Lindsay Crosby just, ranting over the weekend that was. Let's talk about this series coming up against the Washington Nationals. Starts tonight in Truist Park. 4-game series, one of those weird 4-game sets. The first 3 are all 7:15 starts, so it's all prime time. Thursday's getaway day is 12:15. Atlanta's not been good in day games this year. Don't know what that's about, but we'll see what happens. And then after that, they fly to Boston to take on the Red Sox for 3. So tonight, Grant Holmes versus Jake Irvin. Tomorrow, Spencer Schwellenbach versus Michael Soroka. There's your revenge game possibility. You always hate to see that sometimes. And then Wednesday, Bryce Elder versus the only lefty of the group, Mitchell Parker. And Thursday, AJ Smith-Shawver versus Trevor Williams. Nervous about Tuesday's game, I'll be honest. It's a revenge game. You always hate revenge games. But for Jake Irvin, 2-1, 3.94 ERA in 8 starts. The strikeout stuff hasn't necessarily always been there for him this year. 48 innings, 33 strikeouts. I say that. I said you could hit these guys over the weekend and they didn't do it. You can hit those guys. Atlanta just didn't do it. Their ERA showed that you can do it. They just weren't able to get it done. Okay. So, of the stuff that he throws, what you need to know about it and how he uses it. The platoon thing here is his number 1 pitch is his curveball. It's the only positive, or really positive pitch that he has. +4 run value on the curveball. Throws it 39% of the time. It's 78 miles an hour. It doesn't drop as much as a normal curveball. It has more horizontal movement. It's more of a 2-plane thing. He has a lower arm angle. It's 28 degrees. So he gets plenty of horizontal movement on the curveball. It's not a sweeper. Think of it if a sweeper had drop to it, right? If a sweeper had more drop. It's like that profile. Doesn't drop as much as a curveball. Doesn't move horizontally as much or drop as a sweeper. It's kind of like a mix between a sweeper and a curveball, right? So there's that. He also has a 4-seamer and a sinker. Now he combines those for 42% usage, but it's very much a platoon situation, and I'll get to that in a second. He's got a changeup and he has a cutter. And again, the handedness things are really big here, okay? So if you are a righty, curveball 1, sinker 2, 4-seamer 3. And he really doesn't throw anything else to you. If you're a righty, curveball, sinker, 4-seamer, the changeup, of the 91 he's thrown, 6 have gone to righties. The cutter, of the 25 that he has thrown, 8 have gone to righties. It's really just curveball, sinker, 4-seamer in that order. 4-seamer, obviously elevated. Sinker, down in the zone is where he likes to throw it. The curveball, he likes to throw it in the zone. The thing that he likes to do with the curveball is having it look like it is a ball and letting the movement bring it back into the zone for a strike. Okay? So he will his goal, it looks like, is either start it outside the zone and bring it back in, or start it in the zone and have it come from, hitting the outer edge to hitting the inner edge so that you can't get a solid barrel on it. And the curveball's performing. 181 average this year, 347 slug. The 4-seamer absolutely is not. 92 miles an hour on the 4-seamer. It's an average allowed of 309 with a 582 slug, and that's because he's been lucky with it. The expected batting average is 343 with a 762 slug. So I'm going to change the way that I say this. A normal offense should be able to hit Jake Irvin. There's a lot of blue on this StatCast. There really is. He doesn't get a lot of chase. He gets very little whiffs, very low strikeout rate. He doesn't allow a ton of he allows a ton of barrels. He gives up plenty of hard hit contact. Like 46% of his balls are hard hit. The fastball velocity is low. The exit velocity is high. He's the rare guy where the fastball velocity and the average exit velocity allowed are almost equal. His fastball averages 91.8. His average exit velocity allowed is 90.8. Again, a normal offense should be able to hit him. Yes, he has a 394. Again, he's been lucky. The expected is 549. You should be able to hit Jake Irvin. Now, obviously, the question is going to be, do you actually end up hitting Jake Irvin? But you should be able to. Finishing up the locations and everything of the pitches, the sinker is down middle of the zone, right? So attack zone 8 there, below the heart of the plate. Changeup, he throws the changeup in the zone a lot. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. The changeup grades out okay. It's not awesome, but it's not terrible. It's like a 238 average allowed, 476 slug. He has gotten lucky here, though, too. It's a 323 expected average. And even the sinker's a 185 average and a 185 slug. But the expected's a 291 average and a 418 slug. This is a hittable pitcher. You should be able to get runs off of Jake Irvin. But we said that about Carmen Mladinsky, and you couldn't do it then. So I don't know what to expect tonight. If you're a lefty, by the way, curveball, then four-seamer, then changeup, then sinker cutter. It's predominantly curveball, four-seamer. That's a two-pitch combo, predominantly. But then the changeup's the third pitch, and then it feels like maybe once at bat you'll see a sinker or you'll see a cutter, but it's curveball, four-seamer, changeup. So let's see what they do tonight off of Jake Irvin. Again, hittable pitches. A normal offense should be able to hit them. Hopefully this offense can figure out how to do it, because I can't take much more of this. This has been Braves Today for Monday, May 12th. Do me a favor, if you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review with some kind words. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music can let you leave reviews now if you listen to podcasts. Sure, okay. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when I drop the next episode. Again, tomorrow, 12 o'clock. We go up weekdays at noon unless there's a day game. Also, go subscribe to BravesToday.com. Free or paid. Sign-ups to the newsletter help a ton. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.